Tarshish is wherever that place is that you think you can escape. That you can get away somehow from God's love and claim upon your life. Well, he tries to go to Tarshish. He gets into this boat, but of course the storm comes up. And the sailors on deck are trying to do everything they can. They're praying to every god they can think of. They're throwing everything overboard. And finally they go to Jonah and they say, you know, what's the name of your God? We'll pray to this God and we'll be faithful. Just, you know, tell us what it is. And Jonah, to his credit at this point, actually says, you know, I think it's probably me. Throw me overboard and it'll probably be okay. And they don't do it. The sailors here, the non-Israelites here, are the most compassionate. They're trying to do everything they can to appease God, even to praying to God. And they don't want to throw him over. And eventually Jonah just ends up having to be cast over because he knows it really is him that's the reason God's angry. And that's where he gets swallowed up by the great fish. And that's why I have...
Why do you have your super soaker?
Well, it's like... I don't know, actually. It'd have to be like a lot of water, wouldn't it?
Yeah. You're not going to squirt me.
Okay.
Or the camera.
It was VBS recently.
Okay, imagine waves.
Whoosh.
Yeah.
And then he's in the belly of the whale, the fish, for 3 days. This is one of the few images when the Christians were in the catacombs, early Christian art. You know, there are no images of the crucifix and the cross with the early Christian church. It doesn't come along until 4th century and the Emperor Constantine. The early Christians, though, they loved this image of Jonah and the whale. And I think they viewed it as Christ, you know, in the tomb for 3 days.
Right. Very much so.
But it's that nice sense that, as you were rightly saying, and I was sort of not getting it, I think, Jonah, you know, God does pursue Jonah, not to hurt Jonah,
but preserves him.
Yeah, and to be with him even in the belly.
Yeah, because so sometimes when I read...
you're doing this swallowed by the fish.
Well, you stepped on my toes.
I did. I stepped on your turf.
Ken likes to steal my thunder. He just does.
No! 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 We will be taking the water gun away.
I didn't know it was loaded.
Yeah. Nothing wild with the teeth. So keep going with the fish. Already kind of...
I've gotten off course.
So he's in the belly.
Oh, this is what I always think. Like, so Jonah's trying to get away from God. And so I think he thinks the best move would be to jump in the ocean. Surely I will just die.
That could be.
And like, if I can't get away on the boat, if this isn't gonna work, let me go another step to try and get away. And God doesn't let him.
Yeah.
I always like that.
Another place you can't get away is this office.
I know.
Stop calling us.
If you didn't get your call answered sometime in July, this is it. So I don't know why I like to think of Jonah almost as like suicidal, but I do. But that God preserves and protects Jonah even when he is doing everything he possibly can to get away, and preserving for a purpose, you know. And bringing about that purpose. Because guess where Jonah gets spit up? On the shores of Nineveh.
Yay!
Wow.
Yeah.
Fish, it's the only way to travel.
Do you have like a smoking preference? No, you know in the cartoons, he always puts like, builds like a little fire in the belly.
Oh yeah, it's like in Pinocchio.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I always envision Pinocchio when I think about this.
And now we have like Finding Nemo where there's like, ooh, and the whale swallows something.
Yeah.
All sorts of images of people getting swallowed by whales and fish.
Yes.
So then you get the Ninevites' response.
The Ninevites' response.
What do they do?
They hear him out, even though Jonah keeps saying, they're surely going to kill me. And God's like, no, they're not.
Go, yeah.
Go, it'll be fine. And so they hear and they repent. They put on their
sackcloth
and ashes and weep and repent, and God does have mercy on them. And I still think Jonah's kind of bitter throughout the whole thing.
Oh, he ends being angry.
Yeah, he's bitter and does not like it. And I'm sure there's some really interesting theological things to make about Jonah's bitterness and things to think about through like pastoral lenses. But I don't know what they are now, and I'm not going to think about it.
My favorite thing is actually more entertaining than deep.
Hit me with it.
It's the animals. The animals.
Oh, that the animals repent
actually,
too.
yes, the animals wear sackcloth and ashes. My wife and I, we have a long-standing argument. Do all dogs go to heaven? She says no. She said if the animals were supposed to be saved, Jesus would have been a golden retriever. And I know. I said it's stupid. It's ridiculous.
And how do we know that there isn't a Jesus golden retriever? They can't write. Maybe it's an oral tradition passed down from dog to dog.
You have an interesting point there, Nicole. Well, but Gregory of Nazianzus, I think, said that which is not redeemed cannot be saved. So she actually had she made a point there saying. But
then you could also say that only dudes are redeemed.
Well, but that is a challenge of Gregory, right?
Yeah.
One of my counter arguments to her, both with Romans, that all flesh is, or all creation is groaning with labor pains and is to be saved, is this notion here that even the animals put sackcloth and ashes, and the animals repent. Yeah. And then the very last lines of it, I think, are God telling Jonah, "Should I not be concerned with the Ninevites?" And he names the number of the Ninevites and all the many animals.
Yes.
So God actually takes pity on not just the people, but the cows too.
I can think of many scriptural verses where I would say, of course, all creation is redeemed.
Now, you know what we're going to have to do now. Melissa, you're probably watching this. We're going to have you in here to give your own rebuttal.
Yeah.
So you can have your own say.
Because you're wrong.
And whatever you do, Melissa, if you come in, do not argue with Nicole about Alexander either, because she's like that. But this time I'm on her side.
I know. Isn't it nice to be on the winning side?
So Jonah, in summary, prophet who flees God, you can't flee God, and it shows the universality of God's love and grace upon all.
Yes.
Yeah.
We love it.
All right. Next is Micah. See you then.